Brian Billick, NFL on Fox, joining us now, former Ravens head coach. Did you have guys, you were just watching Scott Van Pelt shoot some hoops.
He was draining them.
Yeah. But you know how guys are good in practice and then not good in games? Did you have those guys?
Oh, my gosh. More than I should have. That's why I'm doing a radio show with Dan Pack. That in practice, they were great. Put me in, coach, and then it's really twice. You're going to bounce it in twice before you can get it into the receiver.
But can you see that where certain guys on game day where all of a sudden it's changed because they realize the stakes, how high it is?
You know what? When you look at particularly at a quarterback and you look in his eyes, you want a certain amount of calm, but you don't want it to get to that point where it's, no, he doesn't know what he doesn't know. It's one thing to be confident. It's another to be totally unawares. You want confidence, but you don't want that, no, I'm good regardless. Well, wait a minute. Let's wait and see.
We have a poll question today, and you'll know this answer quite well. Would you rather be – McLovin, give the wording to Coach.
Would you rather be the worst quarterback to ever have won a Super Bowl or the best quarterback to not have won a Super Bowl?
Wow. I think – not to be mercenary, I think the best quarterback not to have won one might be more profitable than the one, the good, the one that made a Super Bowl just because of the longevity. You know, it's interesting. You ask a player, the really good players, particularly those that maybe don't have a championship ring, and would you rather have the Super Bowl or all the Pro Bowls? Maybe the Hall of Fame. I remember someone asked Eric Dickerson, would you give up the Hall of Fame for a Super Bowl ring? He goes, heck no. He says that Hall of Fame's pretty good.
Yeah.
That good career, but yeah, I mean, obviously to have that experience, but then you've got a lot of great players that maybe they fill that void not having that championship ring, a Dan Marino, a Dan Fouts, a Warren Moon. They've had a pretty good career.
But if I put those guys in today's NFL, I mean, I just can't imagine Marino in today's NFL.
Oh, gosh.
He would these numbers that Peyton's putting up are absolutely extraordinary, but Marino was putting up unbelievable numbers in 1984.
And it sounds like a bunch of old men talking, but clearly when I had Warren Moon in Minnesota, who's still, for my money, maybe one of the most beautiful, pure releases.
Deep ball thrower.
Oh, unbelievable in terms of just the natural ability to throw the ball. So absolutely, for them to use it to sit and visit with them, and they think about, you talk about small windows. We talk about how small the window is to get a ball in and why these college kids struggle to get the ball in now. And that's with today's rule. Could you imagine how tight those windows were when you could literally mug the guy all over the field?
Seattle's defense, and I was talking to Marshall Falk about this, if I'm that secondary, I'm going to be as physical as possible, and you're not going to call holding or interference on every play, but I'm going to let you know that we're there. How this Super Bowl is covered and called, how important is that for Seattle's style? Is it more important for Seattle style or Denver's style, how this game is officiated?
Obviously Seattle, in that the league will tell you that we call it the same. That'll be their mantra, but there is no question. Anybody that's ever played this game, because you always, you would show the crew record of any team you're playing, the crew record meaning the official saying this group calls a lot of holding, this group calls a lot of pass interference. But these are broken up crews now. So you can go by it individually, but you got to recognize, guys, push the envelope. You find out what you can get away with, because there is no question, I don't care what the league says, that the game is called differently. They're going to let you play to a point. And again, just like the players, they'll tell you, just be consistent. If you're going to let us play the whole game, and don't change it the last play of the game.
Brian Billick, NFL on Fox, joining us. Dan Patrick Show. We've been talking about this whole Omaha thing, and you being an offensive-minded guy, code words that you used, I brought up some that James Lofton mentioned to me yesterday, that the Bills had Noah for Noah's Ark, 2x2, counts on 2. Derby was 3 legs of the Triple Crown, counts on 3. Did you have something sophisticated?
I remember a Mark Rippon in Washington. There's a great NFL clip of him telling this guy they had to change it up. And they would always check an inside zone to outside zone. So he was saying, guys, okay, for inside zone, I'll say a state, okay? But for the outside zone, I'll say a country. I'm going, okay, that ain't going to work.
No.
Wait a minute. You're like Joey on Friends. Utah. Well, okay, that's outside the country, so I'm going to block the outside zone. And I remember as far back as when I was in Minnesota, John Turling, legendary defensive line coach, I'd walk by their defensive line meeting rooms, and they were playing the TV copy because they wanted to hear the checks. and see if they could get the snap count or get the idea. No, and this idea of signing a player from a team that then comes in and now has the forget it. It all changes. There's no one better than Peyton, and it depends on what's the they used to say cosign. What's the cosign? Where Omaha means nothing unless it's co-signed with, I don't know, Lincoln, San Francisco, whatever. But whatever combinations, but make no mistake, because you talk to the players that have worked with Peyton, it's fabulous, they love it. But there are times it's like, are you kidding me? Did he say the cosign word? Did he not? It'd be amazing. It'd be interesting to find out how many times they don't get it. They still pull it off. But I thought he checked it to an Omaha minute. No, I didn't say blue Omaha. I said red Omaha, and that meant something different. So it can get prohibitive. But it's what they do, so they're used to it.
What does Seattle want Peyton Manning to do on Sunday?
You know what? I did a bit on Playbook looking at the proverbial box that Peyton has to run into, where you look and go, where's everybody? How can you not run the ball every single play? And the last couple games, the teams have said, okay, Peyton, will you run it 40 times? And when you look at, there's 4 guys line of scrimmage and no linebackers. You're darn right I'm going to run it every time. And if they can afford to play that game, if they can keep that pacing, the key is they're going to give you the opportunity to complete the ball underneath. They're going to give you the opportunity to run the ball. They feel very good about, like any good defense, the ability to tackle in the open field. But you miss a couple of those, then all of a sudden it changes the equation. Seattle can play its game as long as they can stay in touch. If it becomes a track meet, then what does Russell Wilson do when there's a 10, 14, 17-point differential? Now you got to take that patent and game plan, fold it up, put it in your back pocket, and turn it loose.
Got any problem with your players talking?
Me?
No, but during a game, after the game.
Oh, you know what?
I mean, you had talkers.
Yeah, including the head coach.
Yeah.
If that's what you do, as long as it doesn't take you off your game. Some guys shouldn't be doing it. They think they can, but shouldn't. This group, I can imagine, there's a point where you go too far. I can imagine Pete kind of reeling, hey, guys, it's us against the world. They don't understand. Trying to justify a Richard Sherman, but then privately sitting with Richard, say, Richard, let me help you here, man. First, what are you trying to accomplish? Because whatever, it's the Jerry Maguire, help me help you. What is it you're trying to accomplish? I'm not sure you got that done. Let's find a little bit better way to do it.
How's this play out Sunday?
You know what? I'm kind of like the bookies. I'm all over the place. I told you I did a thing for Playbook. I did it with Sterling Sharp and Sean O'Hara and Brian Baldinger. And I had my pieces, and it's okay. Well, this is how Denver's going to win. And then Sean would do something on Seattle. I'm going, ooh, that looks pretty good. Okay, yeah, Seattle's going to win. And then Sterling would do, okay, I'm back to the original. I'm really all over the place here. I think it's going to be that kind of game. I could give you 2 or 3 things why each team's going to win and lose, and then be valid. Normally we come in here, right or wrong, you kind of get the sense, hey, this is going to go this way. And you may be right or wrong, but you got a strong sense. This one, I tell you what, I think it's a true pick 'em.
Coach differently in the weather?
I don't think the weather's going to be enough to coach differently. Denver's got to do what they're going to do. But certainly if indeed Denver can't sustain certain drives, or there's a limitation on putting the ball down the field, does Seattle stress that game plan a little bit more? Or if it's harder to put the ball down the field, maybe I build that box a little bit more. Maybe I invite Peyton to throw the ball a little bit more, because it's a little problematic because of the wind. We know here in the Meadowlands, it's all about the wind. Forget about the rain, forget about the cold. It's all about the wind. If he finds that's an issue, I can see him, building the box a little bit more to say, okay, you want to do this other thing? Go ahead and test us.
SeatGeek.com?
Yeah, I tell you what, it's just like it sounds, SeatGeek.com. It's basically a search engine that you see all the time, but for tickets, you can go to SeatGeek.com. SeatGeek.com. Yeah, spell that one. Yeah. That basically you can go in, whether it's not just games like the Super Bowl, it's going to be theater tickets, it's going to be concerts. Thing I love about it, yeah, you can see what the pricing is. Yeah, you can see where the ticket is and what the view is. But they'll tell you whether it's a good deal or not. They'll give you an amalgam of the other seats in the area, what they're going for, and they'll rate it for you that says this is a good buy, or, hey, maybe you want to overspend. That's fine. But it'll tell you whether you're overspending or not. It's all comprehensive SeatGeek.com that will give you not only the venue, not only the seat, but whether you're getting a good deal or not.
It's great to see you, and thanks for all your contributions during the regular season,
fun.
Coach.
It's been fun.
Thank you. Brian Billick.